This is our 10th meeting for this revitalization study for Browns Mills. Why don't we start off here? We have an agenda and meeting minutes from the last meeting. Our last meeting was on September 2nd, the day after Labor Day. The things that we talked about there is, one, we talked about what was going on with the Browns Mills Shopping Center and the redevelopment of it. As we saw, the township made a little progress. We got Mr. Brody to pave his lot there, paint the curbs, and fix some of the lights. So there is progress being made, which is a good thing. Next, we did a summary of the business owner survey that went out. In mid-July through all of August, Mo and I went out to the business owners within the redevelopment area, about 45 of them, and we knocked on their door and we asked them what are their concerns, what are their interests, how are they doing business in Browns Mills, and what the town, the Pinelands, and other HCs can do to improve them. The big things that came out of that survey is, one, that a lot of business owners feel that the township has too many restrictions along with the Pinelands. It's very hard to do development. One of the things we talked about is creating a liaison or representative to help facilitate the process of new development, or if a business owner wants to expand their existing structure. So we talked about developing an ombudsman or representative. The second thing that we talked about was there's a perception of a lack of police presence in the downtown area. There's a lot of loitering and transients. Some of the seniors get concerned when they see kids on bikes or on their skateboards. So we talked about ways to improve the perception of safety in the downtown area, adding lights, more police patrols, maybe bike patrols. And then the other thing that we talked about was how to bring businesses downtown. That's, again, where the representative comes in. So we're going to look into doing something like that. The other thing we talked about is creating a brochure, which I'm working on with the planning board chairwoman, Christine, about how to guide developers through the development process in Pemberton. So that took up pretty much the whole meeting. Our next meeting is coming up, or Wednesday, November 3rd. That's going to be, or 5th. That's a change because Tuesday, the 4th, is election day. And then Tuesday, December 2nd, is going to be our next one. So we made a lot of progress. What I want to get through today is I want to talk about where we started, what we have done, and where we need to go. So we've been doing this for about 10 months, and we've talked about a lot of issues. Now it's time to put pen to paper and really draft a report to get to the township. Now we want this report to be a consensus report, so everyone here, we're in agreement of what we're doing is the right thing for the township. So back in December, actually late November, early December, we started off with just a simple organization meeting, and we talked about what we like and dislike about Browns Mills. We talked about the strength and the opportunities and the threats in the downtown and how we can overcome them. Rick went through about Main Street, the elements of a good design of the downtown, how the streets and how the buildings relate to the streets, pedestrian access, pedestrian movements downtown. So we talked about those issues. We briefly talked about marketing and branding. This is going to be a key component of the study. Together we can create this wonderful plan, put beautiful pictures in it, have these great designs, great site plans. The problem is, if we don't brand it right and if we don't market it, it won't be successful. So what we have to do is come up with, we're going to have to put on our marketing caps and be real marketers of this redevelopment plan for the downtown area. We have to sell it. We have to get out there. We just don't want this thing to sit on a shelf and collect dust. So that's where we're going to be evolving this study into now. We also talked to, during the time there, we talked to the Pinelands. These are one of the agencies that we have to work with. The Pinelands is good. It protects the watersheds. It's good for the environment. It's hard for developers. There has to be this in-between ground. And we've reached out to them, and they're willing to work with us. We're not going to see them as an adversary, but something that can help the downtown area. So we're working with them on a buffer reduction plan along the no-boom corridor. It's going to take time, but it's a progress. Like we said, we're going to be doing these meetings every month just to make sure that we keep everything on track. We've been talking to stakeholders. Mo and I, we talked to the business owners. We had meetings with Deborah. We've talked to the school superintendent. We've talked to the residents. We still have to talk to Brooklyn County Community College. But we're getting out there. We're getting all the stakeholders involved. This is going to be a consensus plan, but it's not doing this by ourselves. Everyone's going to be involved in this process. As you can see, over 3 or 4 months, we took every street within the downtown area, and we sketched a conceptual site plan, streetscape plan. This is one along Browns Mills Road in Pemberton. Adding trees, creating sidewalks, creating a buffer area. We're going to do this for the whole entire area, and it's going to be included in the final document. And we're going to have a big blow-up. We'll show every little detail about lights, lamps, pedestrian crossings in the downtown area. Also during this time period, we talked about circulation. This grant was given to us by the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission. And one of the key components of it was how do you encourage alternate modes of transportation, bus, bike, pedestrians, carpools into a downtown area. So we talked about carpooling, we talked about making better access points for pedestrians to create a more vibrant area in the downtown area. We talked about bulb outs. We talked about street planting trees. So we're hitting on the elements. Now it's just a matter of us finalizing everything and putting everything into a draft format. During this time, we also talked about the Browns Mills Shopping Center. We talked about code enforcement. We talked about creating a mercantile ordinance. There was a perception that the owners are not responsible for the maintenance of their facilities and their properties. Well, we want to make that change because if their property looks good, it will encourage other developers and other property owners to come in and fix up their properties. We want to rebrand Pemberton, downtown Browns Mills, as something that's friendly, safe, and economically viable for the township. And the other thing we talked about was safety. One of the key things is we have to provide that this is a safe environment. There's no crime here. We have to say, clean up the streets, get the graffiti off. We already have the Clean Communities Awareness Program that cleans up the streets bi-monthly, I guess? Yeah. Just about. Just about. Bi-monthly they come up, every weekend they clean it up. So we've touched on all the major elements that you would incorporate into a comprehensive master plan. But the most important thing that we have to talk about right now is the visioning. We hit on everything. We talked about visioning and branding in the beginning, but now we have to come up with a vision of what we want in the next 5 to 6 years, of what we want Browns Mills to look like. So on the last page, sort of like, all right, here's a definition. There's many definitions for a vision statement, but in my opinion, this is probably one of the better ones that we have crafted. A vision statement is a broad statement on how the township envisions itself as it moves forward into the future. It is a mental picture of where the community hopes to be in the future. It embodies the community's ideas and captures its unique qualities. I think that's a pretty good sentence, definition of a vision statement. Now, we have to create one. So, there's a rating. What we have here is 22 questions, and what we're going to ask is, from this committee, is to rate these ideas, these questions, 1 through 5, 1 being the most important, 5 being the least important, and then there's a number 23 as for other. But what we want to come up right now is start developing this vision for this plan right now. And from there, we can craft it towards this visioning statement. I know, that's a lot.
With this right now?
Well, I'm going to see if we can post it online. But I want you guys to think
Well,
about
we might go through it. It's not that difficult.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Right.
Do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. But I want to just, that's an excellent summary